Hey guys, it's Oluchi for Ways Breakfast. Thanks for always tuning in. Our research has shown that you're probably not subscribed to our channel. What are you waiting for? Make sure you hit that subscribe button below so you never miss out on our latest content and stay in the loop with all things Ways. If the channel grows, it means more great content for you guys. So hit that subscribe button now.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population and with little or no meaningful engagement leaves a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more. Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say. Trust in Nigerian politicians or politicians anywhere depends on their track record, integrity, and commitment to public service. While there are honest and competent leaders, there's also a history of corruption, broken promises, and self-interest. The key is not blind trust, but accountability. Citizens should scrutinize policies, demand transparency, and hold leaders responsible for their actions. And Nigerian politicians have a long history of making grand promises during campaigns, but failing to deliver. So you really must hold them accountable. It's another beautiful episode on your favorite primetime show, Ways, What Are You Saying? And my name remains Osayuame Saleh. Today I want to ask you, do you trust your politicians? Are our politicians to be trusted? That's the question. Now remember, Ways is all about you. You are the why in Ways. So be a part of the conversation every single day and add your voice to the discussion. You can also head on to our YouTube channel. It's at Official Upgrade TV. Hit that subscribe button, like, share, and invite your families and friends to join the show right now. So when I open the phone lines, I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know Nigerians are always very quick to say, politicians, no, not trust, not trust. But hey, that's the question tonight. Should our politicians be trusted? Do you trust your politicians? Yes, I would love to hear your thoughts when I open the phone lines much later. As always, please ponder on my quote for the day. I thought of this quote and I just said, you know what? Let's just have it anyway. It says, in a country well governed, I want you to think deeply about this quote. Poverty is something to be ashamed of in a country well governed. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Oof, this was from Confucius. So you see, when I see our political leaders and different people like flaunting wealth in Nigeria, it's something to be ashamed of, honestly, because the amount of poverty, the amount of hardship that people are going through in this country. When I saw this quote, it didn't just, it just took me to somewhere. And I think, we should just think deeply of this quote because, yeah, if a country is well governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. But if a country is badly governed, you can't be celebrating wealth when there's so much poverty everywhere. So you must think very deeply. All right, so we'll delve into the conversation around whether our politicians are to be trusted or not. But first, I want to run off on a break. I'll let you in on my news interest when I get back. Stay with me.
Tell us you're a Nigerian without saying a word. Energy security is one of the most pressing issues for many developing countries like
All right, thanks for staying. So I'm going to start with my state government. You know, for those that know, I am from Edo State, and there has been an ongoing tribunal that has been, what's it called, from the elections. There's an election tribunal. So some interesting, events happened yesterday. And the Edo State Governor, Monday Okpeholo, opened and closed his case before the Edo State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal after calling one witness. So there's one guy that I follow. There's what's it called? There's an Instagram handle I follow that just keeps me updated on everything Edo State, right? And I saw one guy's analysis, and this was how I found out about the story yesterday. So maybe we should just take a listen on this video, then I'll come back.
So normal, everybody go court today. Tony Azegbemi na lead PDP side. Honorable Marcus Onobu dey there. Senator Egeo Zame dey there. Don Pedro dey there. Right Honorable Friday Tula dey there. Then for the APC side, na full house, I don't feel mention their names finish. Honorable Momo dey there when be minister. Ajoto dey there. Shuaibu dey there. Odubu dey there. Urowi dey there. Then plenty. Jarrett Tenenbe, the state chairman dey there. Sit down where we wear suit. So, na case can start. Una no say today, na Okpebolo lawyer, na the turn to present their witness after INEC don't close their case last time. So today, na Okpebolo turn. Now they come bring one witness come. The witness na from Ovia Southwest local government, na from Denko local government. Now they bring the guy come. As he just smart witness boss, just two questions when they ask and say, based on Rigi or call for the police unit when they bring you come, make you come defend. Now, so the guy say, I don't understand, ask him again. Now the PDP lawyer can't ask him again. Even the tribunal can't help him understand the question well. As the guy look the paper, he just look around like this, look everywhere around. And I say, I beg, I don't fit talk lie. Over voting, day, Rigi or call there. Now there, everybody, everywhere bust to. As he just do that one, PDP lawyer say, he not get more question again. As it can't happen, now so Kwewolo lawyer just quickly stand up. He say, with the way this thing be like this witness don't do okay. They rely on the one when PDP don't bring, wait till PDP witness don't talk. Say they rely on that one. Because we praise PDP witness, say they be brilliant statisticians. So I don't feel interpret that one for English, and I know what it mean. So after that, I can't be the turn of the APC. Now that be the third respondent. Those who come back court say, may they give them till Wednesday. May they prepare their witness, whether they go fit come court so that they go assess them. Now court say no, may not bring them come on Wednesday. Either the case continue or not leave her like that. So now so it happened for court today. Now Wednesday now, next tomorrow night we go meet again. Una well done.
I don't think I have anything to say. I don't need to add anything to that explanation. I'll just move on. But honestly, the times are getting very interesting. So I'm keeping an eye on Edo State politics. A very sad note, an Uber driver was killed and the body was dumped on Lagos Road. So the Lagos state chapter of the Amalgamated Union of App-Based Transporters of Nigeria, they've mourned the death of a 42-year-old e-hailing driver, Yusufat Ayinde, who was stabbed to death by unidentified assailant. This happened on Friday last week. This is really sad. He said that Ayinde received a ride request through the e-hailing app and arrived at the destination, the designated location where he was ambushed by him. The assailant fatally stabbed him in the process and fled. Victims, even the passengers are also victims. It's just a sad development, and this is what I say when I talk about security all the time. I wanted to touch on the JAM story quickly. And that's because my son is writing JAM, so I have every right to protest. So I don't understand why JAM is setting 320 as a benchmark for candidates that are under 16. What are your parameters? What's the criteria for this? Like, okay, because the child is young, the child has to prove that they're academically sound for them to be able to go into the university. I think the entire educational system needs to be completely overhauled, because I feel like most of our leaders, you know, that are overseeing these ministries, especially the Ministry of Education, they have still not gotten what needs to be done. When you talk about child success and all of that, it is not just academic that brings a child to success. Emotional stability is very key. I'm just that mother that would not skip classes, or that would not want to skip classes for my children, because my children, if we want to look at academic prowess, right, they have the capacity to even go to, for instance, my son had from year 4, he could go into GSS1 from primary 4. But I, on my own, said, no, you have to finish through all the 6 years of primary school before you go into secondary school. And you must finish your 6 years of secondary school before you go into... Then even at that, all that calculation, he still wasn't 18 by the time he was getting into university. So I don't understand what your parameters or your criteria for setting benchmark for. So the people now, I want to just ask a question. The people that are 17 and 18, if they get 200 for the same course, they will be admitted, and the one that gets below 320 for the same course will not be admitted. Make it make sense. All right, so I'll move on quickly. This one was a very disturbing story I saw. I don't understand the kind of human beings that we are breeding these days. Maybe we should just watch the video first. If we are able to see that video, then I can then come back and just share my 2 cents. There was drama in Unizik, as you know, a student. She did not only slap the lecturer, she actually beat the lecturer. She bites in flesh after he interrupted her video. And this one, I was completely left speechless.
Excuse me. Can you imagine? Just hit me.
The write-up of the lecturer saying that this morning, 11 a.m., I was recording a quick... Okay, this was the girl. I was recording a quick video with a friend along my lecture room hallway. When out of nowhere, I felt a push from my left side, accompanied by a cart, excuse me. Initially, I thought it was a student. But when I turned around, I was shocked to see a man, a lecturer, on, what did she say, on whatever to me. I felt helpless, faint, and utterly disrespected. I don't understand. Did you see that? It was just a small I whispered to my friend, almost see how this lecturer pushed me. And my friend tried to reassure me. Before I could even process what had happened, someone tried to grab my phone from behind. I held on tight, exclaiming shock, and turned around to see the same man who had pushed me earlier. Mind you, I didn't even know he was, I think she didn't know that he was a lecturer or something. The situation escalated with some students intervening, and in no time I saw theater arts students from his department approaching me with weapons. I was so terrified and heartbroken. The securities eventually arrived, taking me away in their van. I'm still shaking. Auntie, calm down. We watched the video. Because I also read the lecturer's side where he said that he was so grateful that he was calm all through. Yes, this was the lecturer's write-up that, you know, he had just left the hall, and when he saw this, so what he said from the lecturer's point was that he noticed that he might have been in the video right? So that was why he came back to ask her that she should please delete that particular one where he interrupted it. And that was how the babe grabbed him, beat him, did so many things, and she was, but it was later found out that the young girl has, I think her mom is a lecturer in that same university. Maybe that's what gave her the, what's it called? They call it impetus, right? to do what she did. But honestly speaking, I don't understand the kind of human beings we're breeding. Do you know that? I find it very distasteful for exchange of fight. Like I've said it before that somebody had actually slapped me in public before, but I was just staring at the person because I do not have the capacity in me to fight another human being, like physical fight. I'll not grab. I just feel like those things, it just shows how uncouth you are as a human being. So I don't understand why you get to the point where you grab somebody, tear the shirt, bite the person. No. She has no excuse for her actions. She has no excuse for her actions. You might say, okay, maybe the lecturer did not approach her, politely or whatever. But when you say that the man shrugged you, he didn't. We all saw it in the video. It was just a, excuse me, and he walked past. But when he then noticed that he might have been in that video, so I don't understand how you say somebody, come on, girl. This was all shades of wrong. And I think you really, really need to go and find a way to, apologize to this man very deeply, because I don't even know. In some schools, that is automatic rustication, like you just be expelled from the school. There's no excuse for that. All right, I'll take a break. When I come back from that break, let's discuss our politicians. Do you trust them? Stay with me. All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, said he had heard rumors of his imminent arrest and torture in one of the offices of the National Security Advisor. For days, El-Rufai and the NSA Nuhu Ribadu's camp have been locked in a heated verbal war after a chieftain of the People's Democratic Party, Naja'atu Muhammad, claimed in a viral TikTok video that Ribadu once labeled President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as corrupt during his tenure as chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. But in a strongly worded letter, Ribadu, through his lawyer, Dr. Ahmed Raji, SAN, refuted the allegations, insisting he never made such statement, either publicly or privately. He described the damage from the video as unquantifiable and demanded a public apology and reactions. However, in a post on his X handle, El-Rufai swiftly slammed the NSA, accusing him of serious amnesia. Oh God, I love these our politicians. Over his denial of the past comments allegedly made against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So on the back of this story, right, is why we are asking, should we even trust our politicians? Should our political leaders be trusted? As I'd mentioned in my, when I was making my opening remark, that Nigerian politicians have a long history of making grand promises during campaigns, but have, of course, they always fail to deliver. I'll give some examples, but quickly, I don't know what your thoughts are, right? Literally, why do politicians feel the need when a certain leader is in power, they want to start to take back? Like, can you not just own it with your full chest? You've said something, you said it, move on, right? Worst case scenario, yes, I said it because I had the inclination that you were corrupt. So maybe on close proximity with you, I've seen a different side of you, and I think maybe it's not whatever, and I apologize. But you now start to, the thing you say, no, you did not say it. That one, they off me with politicians. Literally, I just get weak. So now, see, some notable examples of failed promises. Remember President Muhammadu Buhari, 2015 to 2003? Security, economy, and anti-corruption promise that he said. He said to defeat Boko Haram within months of taking office. That was one of the promises that he made. Of course, it was a total failure. While some progress was made, definitely, insurgency and banditry even worsened, under his leadership, spreading from the northeast to the northwest and north central. Kidnappings became a national crisis. Now, again, he made a promise to create 3 million jobs per year. Unemployment skyrocketed, hitting over 33% in 2021, with youth unemployment even higher than, ever before. Now, another promise that President Muhammadu made again, he says he's going to end medical tourism. This is the one that just got me. Buhari himself was frequently traveling abroad for medical treatment with millions of dollars on foreign healthcare. Taxpayers' money. At some point, our president was abroad for 9 whole months. There were even speculations of rumors of whether he was still alive and all of that. This was somebody that said he was going to end medical tourism. I'll move on to our second president. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. 2011 rather to 2015. Of course, one of the promises that he said he was going to stabilize power, to ensure stable electricity and increase power generation to 10,000 megawatts. Power generation remained below 5,000 megawatts and the frequent blackout persisted. Billions of dollars were spent with little impact. But I'll still say that in fairness to him, his regime was still better than the dancing grid that we have or that we experienced second half of last year. And of course, the beginning of this year, again, we've had a grid collapse, right? Another promise that Goodluck Ebele Jonathan made was to revamp Nigeria's refineries and make the country self-sufficient in fuel production. Of course, you know that Nigeria continued to import fuel and refineries remained non-functional under his leadership. I still don't know if our refineries are working because they're just different conversations here and there. The only refinery that we know not right now that is working in Nigeria are some modular refineries and, of course, Dangote refinery. Then I'll come to our dear president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He's the current president and he started his regime 2023 and he's still president till date. So again, fuel subsidy removal benefit. One of the promises he made was that after removing the subsidy, the money that was saved would be, of course, reinvested into infrastructure, transportation, and palliatives. So far, I don't know. What do you think? Because I feel like, first of all, fuel prices have tripled, right, if not quadrupled. Inflation, of course, surged. Nigerians are struggling with the rising cost of living, while the promised benefits, we are yet to see it materialize. Because I don't know where those promises are. What can I pinpoint to say, okay, these are the infrastructures that are as a result of the subsidy removal? I don't know. Maybe somebody should help me. This is just me being plain honest. I don't know where that promise is lying. Secondly, I would say that another promise, of course, was to unify the exchange rate and stabilize the naira. Well, I don't know if the exchange rate is unified because we still have some rates that are, of course, there's the CBN rate, there's still the black market rate. But one thing I know is that, yes, to some extent, it's stable, but we are really facing, what's it called, a high dollar to naira rate. I mean, naira to dollar or however you want to put it. The naira has continued to devalue, hitting record lows against the dollar. So I don't know how that promise, is promising. Of course, again, at state levels, let's come to some state governors. Governor Yahaya Bello, of course, Kogi State, he was governor for from 2016 to 2023. He promised prompt salary payments, but of course, workers were owed several months' wages. Like this one, I don't understand how you are working, you have people working for you and they are unable to earn an income, and you don't expect them to stay and let that system run smoothly without some kinds of compromises made. I don't know how people work for people and you owe them months of salaries. And that is Governor Yahaya Bello. Governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom, 2015 to 2023, he promised an Ibom deep sea port. But of course, he left the office without completing it. These are things that we keep on hearing. Like, why do we have politicians make promises for things that they are not able to? Is it that when you're making those promises, you have not done your feasibility studies? Then even if you've made the promise, courtesy or decency or integrity should tell you that you should go back to the people and say, you know what, I think I made my calculations wrong, or based on the estimation, I don't think we're able to meet up with this timeline. But no, you can never hear that from our politicians. They will tell you, even if they have one day left in office, I will build the seaport. They will tell you that they can finish it under 24 hours. That is just their style. Of course, Governor Rochas Okorocha of Imo State, 2011, these are just a few I will mention. I will not mention all. He promised free education at all levels. Hey. Of course, schools remain underfunded and teachers remain underpaid. I don't even understand, honestly speaking. You say you want to give people free education. How feasible is that? Do you even have the facilities to be able to accommodate the people if everybody chooses to go for that free option? Then you said free education at all levels, meaning that up to university level. Come on. Is it that we Nigerians are the ones that allow our politicians to keep on lying to us? That we actually are the ones encouraging them to lie to us? Or they just feel like we are so docile that we will never act on some of the lies that they tell us? I don't understand, because I don't know how you can outrightly say something that you clearly know you don't have the capacity to fulfill. That is I mean, if you put it in simple, plain terms, that is just you telling a lie. So when I would know that you're not lying to me is that if it was an honest mistake, okay, based on my calculations, we thought we could do X, Y, Z. But we have come into office and we have seen the realities of what is on ground, and we know that it is not going to, it is not going to be delivered as we promised. We thought we could do X, Y, Z. But we have come into office and we have seen the realities of what is on ground, and we know that it is not going to, say, okay, you know what? I will build this bridge, I will build that bridge, I will build hospitals, I will build this. And they come back like 2 months later to say, come, the revenue we thought we could generate to be able to accommodate this project, it's not happening. Then see how the flow is going. Look at how much we have spent and see the deficit that we still have left. And because of this deficit, it's going to be difficult for us to meet the timeline that we had initially promised. That shows that you are accountable to the people, and that shows that you care about the people, and that shows that you are not taking them for granted. Because how you come out as a politician to just say what you want to say, and tomorrow you say you never said it, or you say that, or you just kind of walk away without even going back to what it is that you've said, because I beg, Nigerians they'll forget. That's what is, it beats my imagination. But we'll go on a very short break, because today I'm here to just say things. But you see, I don't want to leave it all gloom and gloom, right? I want us to be able to find ways, to share some solutions on how we can just hold our leaders accountable. Since, we started this conversation yesterday when we were talking about, media and how we can hold the leaders and encourage more people to be engaged, the citizens to engage, in their civic responsibilities. Part of your civic responsibility is to now teach your leaders how to be accountable to you. So that's what I want to attempt to kind of share with us when I come back from the break. Stay with me.
Life is made up of moments, some that fill us with joy, others that test our strength. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space to explore the highs and lows of human connection, the love, the heartbreak, and resilience that shapes our life. From relationships to friendships, parenting to partnerships, and so much more. Every week, we share stories and conversations that define us, navigating love, separations, the struggles of parenting, dealing with anxiety and managing the pressures and stress of life. Real conversations that bring us closer, helping us heal, grow, and connect. So join me Mondays through Fridays at 10 p.m. for Heartlines, the show where we'll connect hearts, have real conversations with real people, one story at a time.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, do you trust your political leaders? That's the question. Please let me hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join this conversation. Send me an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also call us on WhatsApp, actually, with that same number. Yeah, and you also call our phone lines. The numbers to call 070250077749 or 07014242420. And let us hear your thoughts. Do you trust your politicians, right? I have some comments on YouTube. Somebody says, hello all, please, most politicians aren't trustworthy and in Niger, it's okay. Somebody is commenting to the video of the Unizik lady and said she definitely overreacted and she's disrespectful. Absolutely. There's no justification, there's no excuse for that. I mean, even if the man shoved you, that's not enough reason for you to go and be jacking somebody. Just tells you how uncouth and all how ill-mannered you are. All right, so yes, ensuring that Nigerian politicians act in, of course, the public's best interest requires a combination of a lot of things. Of course, we mentioned it yesterday, civic engagement. And we keep on happening this thing till forever, until we start to see ourselves becoming a lot more engaged with our civic responsibilities as Nigerians, because we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Somebody has defined that as insanity. How can we keep calm or be quiet and not get engaged in our civic responsibilities and expect our leaders to just come and outrightly be accountable to us? It's not possible. Let me tell you something. In Nigeria, you need to be able to demand what you want, because if you don't, nobody is just going to look at you, oh, I care about you so much, you deserve this. No, that is how life is, unfortunately. So civic engagement is one of the biggest things to do. And of course, through civic engagement, we can ask for institutional reform, right? We can also have, it's like we talked about yesterday, where we said we could support investigative journalism, because one of the biggest tools, one of the biggest form of journalism that can help expose some of the corrupt practices and the misconduct, right, that politicians do is investigative journalism. Right? Because at that point, they are doing a lot of things. At some point, they get even undercover and everything just to be able to get some of the facts right. And we must also encourage whistleblowers. We said this thing yesterday, but you see, the truth is, if we don't, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to, get that transparency and accountability. Then we must also encourage regular town hall meetings where politicians must answer directly to their constituents. Right? So who are the leaders that are, in this constituents? Call them. Come and answer to us. Let us speak to you. What exactly have you done between January to February? In the month of January, what is your report card? We have to be intentional. I'll move on to the next point. We have to also strengthen our electoral integrity. We talked about how our elections are a bit tricky in Nigeria, right? Voting wisely. And we must also resist election manipulation. And all this election manipulation that we are talking about, right? Again, I've said this thing, poverty has been weaponized, so you will still keep getting issues around vote buying, rigging, or intimidation during elections. We saw that happen in the 2023 general elections, where people were literally threatening other people to say that you can't vote. So we must strengthen the electoral integrity. We must also hold INEC accountable. We must hold the Independent National Electoral Commission. We must hold them accountable to always give us a free and fair election. In fact, that's why I'm actually monitoring Edo State, the tribunal. Because in the end, right, whatever happens, whoever wins, as I've said it several times, I don't care about the outcome. I care about the process. We must be intentional that every election in Nigeria is free, fair, and credible. If we don't keep demanding for that, anything goes, and that's how it's going to continue. So we must also intentionally push for electronic voting and real-time result collation to reduce rigging. We've seen it happen. At the polling unit is one result. By the time they transport that result to the collation center, it's a completely different thing. And that's what is happening. So you see the different reps from different political parties holding different papers, because why? At the process of movement, where we have technology. So these are the things that we need to intentionally do if we truly want to start to trust our political leaders. Once these things are in place, then whatever happens, whatever the outcome, we can have some level of comfort to trust it that, okay, yes, this thing was done in a credible manner. Third would be active citizen participation. I've said this thing, I'll keep on saying it, I'll keep on harping it. You must join or support credible civil society organizations that monitor government policies. I mean, we talked about budgets the other day, how they monitor the government, what's it called, the budget, and they monitor a lot of things. We've talked about the enough is enough. Like literally, we've been saying a lot of things. Let me tell you something that happened to Waze this year. Waze, the reason we changed the format of the show is because we want to be very intentional to make sure that every single episode, every single day we go live, we are passing an information that keeps you on your toes as a citizen, that keeps you active, that prompts you to want to take action, right? We're not just coming on TV to be a fine face. No, we have a huge problem in our hand, and it's a leadership problem. And for us to be able to solve that problem, we must be very intentional. So join credible civil society organizations that monitor government policies. You must also join political parties. We've said this thing several times. Be fully involved in the decision-making process. So in the end, right, whoever ends up at the ballot paper, it is no longer going to be we are choosing between the devil and the deep blue sea. No, we are choosing between two good options. Because if we are part of the people that are engaging in selecting the people at the party level that eventually makes it to the ballot box, what do you think will happen? We'll select good options. We'll bring our best foot forward. So whoever then ends up in the ballot, whoever that is elected becomes, I mean, it's a good option for us. Let's stop having these issues where we are comparing the bad and the worst, or whatever it is that we keep on doing all the time with our elections. Then we must also engage. Now, even though I'm not a fan of protest, I've said this thing several times, but somehow there has to be some level of peaceful protest, petitions, advocacy to demand policy change. We must always do that, right? Using social media as a tool to expose bad governance and amplify public concerns can also be another form of protest, can also be another form of advocacy. It's not all the time that it has to be physical. You can also do that, using social media platforms. The fourth point I'll move on to would be push for institutional reforms. I think I'd mentioned it before. But you see, let me tell you the institutions that can help to hold our leaders accountable. So we must demand stronger anti-corruption laws and independent agencies like EFCC and ICPC. They need to function without any form of political interference. How are they functioning today? Who is dictating who they should go and arrest and whatever? They don't have that autonomy. They don't have that independence, right? So until we push for those kinds of policies where EFCC, ICPC can operate without any political interference, we're not ready to start trusting our leaders. We must also advocate for state and local government financial autonomy. We've talked about this thing to reduce central corruption. Now, it is not just local government autonomy that we're asking for. Even at the state level, right? Imagine if Devor and I were talking on Friday. I don't know if you watched the show on Friday, where he was saying that we need to decentralize power. The power at the center is too powerful in Nigeria. Let states be the one to generate their income and give a percentage to the center. That is how it will, we can reduce corruption in Nigeria, because the center is too powerful. So we must advocate for state and local government financial autonomy. That way, we don't need to be calling president all the time. We just go and face our governor. We face our local government chairman. We face our local government, do they call them councillors or whatever? Face all of them, because those are the people that are supposed to bring governance to our doorstep, right? So we must also push for stronger checks and balances within our legislative, executive, and judiciary arm. So we've talked about the judicial system in Nigeria. I mean, if you've not seen that interview, I did a whole session with, Dele Farrell to me, how he said that Nigeria has a corrupt justice system. These are the things that we always hear in different quarters. And for as long as we keep on having maybe delayed judgment, delayed justice, or no justice at all, we can never have a stronger system in Nigeria where corruption would actually be, limited or eradicated. It is not going to be possible. I'll move on to the fifth point, right? Hold our leaders to their promises. Now, this is very important. It means that at every point in time where there's a political campaign, hold your biro and your paper. If you cannot screen record or you cannot whatever, keep records of campaign promises. We must start to hold them, because you see this one way no Ribadu do now that says he said something before. Now he's coming back. Then he was EFCC chairman. He's coming back to say that he did not say that. You see, when you, well, they will come and tell you that it's deep fake. They will tell you it's AI that generated the video. But whatever it is, I think that we need to be intentional about keeping records of, campaign promises and also compare them with the actual performances. So, for instance, if a leader says, oh, I promise to do this X, Y, Z and all of that, where is the actual performance of that promise? We need to start to remind them, Baba, this is what you promised us. Oh, see what we are seeing. We need to see this thing. We can't say we are tired of talking in Nigeria. We need to keep on talking. We need to keep on saying what needs to be said. So we must also support scorecards that track politicians' achievements versus their failures. We must support those kind of performance scorecards. Follow all those, I think Budget said they do something like that. Follow those platforms so that we start to keep check. So that by the time they come back, because your politicians, so sadly, they don't get permanent friend, they don't get permanent enemy. When it's time for elections, they will come back to you after 4 years. And they will still give you that rice, they will still give you that whatever, they will still make the same promises to you. So So the intentionality of holding them accountable, right, is that you keep record of what it is that they are saying. Then you then say, okay, Oga, XYZ was said, nothing was done. This was said, nothing was done. Or you can even keep on reminding them in the course of their 4 years, so that they should just know not to come after 4 years to you. You must also use recall mechanism to remove non-performing elected officials. This one, we never take advantage of it. There are some people that we can recall as citizens, right? We can call for their, come back. We don't want you to represent us anymore. Especially those that are representatives of either a state level or national level. We can call for their removal. But we never take advantages of all of those options that we have. Because most times we just feel like once they are there, whatever covers the executives, like the governors and the presidents and all of that covers, no. So local government chairman, you can take him to court. Those things, I think it is the awareness that we lack. And that is why, even who are here that is talking, I started intentionally learning about my rights and what I need to do as a citizen. Because if you don't, right, you just think that anything can go. It doesn't work that way. We need to be intentional about learning what are the rights that we have, what is the authority that we have as the office of the citizen, then take advantage of that office and then use that, that power that we have to recall some of the non-performing leaders. The sixth point would be economic and social empowerment. So a politically aware and economically independent citizen is harder to manipulate. I've said this thing before, poverty has been weaponized in this country. So it is very difficult for you to tell somebody that is hungry to go and fight a leader that is giving him bread, right? When somebody is not economically independent, of course it's going to be so easy. If they're not economically independent, it'll be so easy for you to manipulate them. And politicians are very much aware of this. It is actually their strategy to keep a lot of us, under poverty so that we are not able to speak. They tell us jump, we say how high, right? So we must understand that, for us to solve this problem of accountability, economic and social empowerment must begin to intentionally happen. So we must invest in things like education, right? Education for not the normal academic education. There's also voter awareness to reduce political apathy. We must also promote youth participation in politics, of course, to break the cycle of recycled leaders that we have in Nigeria. Even though some people have argued in some quarter that most of these leaders that you see today, they actually emerge leaders in their youth. So all this one we're saying youth, let us also be careful so we don't go and, elect or put in monsters in the name of youth and all of that. I've heard that argument before, but I don't know. We'll just keep on trying until we get it right with our leadership. We must also encourage ethical leadership. ethical leadership, right? Support leaders with vision, with competence and integrity, not just party loyalty. Now, this one is very hard in Nigeria because I said it that up until it was just by at the 2023 election that I noticed that there was intentionality in voting for personalities. Because before then, right, if we were voting a particular political party at the presidential level, it just goes across all the, all the positions. We don't even check who is representing. If it is this same party, if it is O party we are putting at the top, it just goes O to National Assembly, your senators, everything will just be O. Same thing for governorship elections. We never used to be intentional about who it was that we were putting, whether they had a vision, whether they had competence, whether they had integrity, right? It was just about party loyalty. So all of those things, we must discourage it going forward. And I think we actually 2023 elections showed a very completely different turn of events from the previous elections, because at the polling unit, we saw different parties being announced for different positions as winners, right? It was no longer a thing of one party just clears all the entire seats at the polling unit. You could see a particular party say, oh, no, I still like this party for state level, but at federal level, we want a different party. That was what happened in the 2023 general election. So we must intentionally maintain that tempo. So it has to be about vision, competency, integrity, not just party loyalty. We also need to push for merit-based political system, over nepotism or godfatherism that we see in Nigeria. What is the merit behind you emerging as the candidate for a particular party? Is it merited, or it is just somebody that just saw you and say, you know what, I have endorsed you? We need to discourage that, and we need to be very intentional about who we put in as political leaders. We must also encourage, again, within the political sector, encourage whistleblowing and protection for those who expose corruption. If we don't do this, this is very key. If we don't do this, right, it means that for every time somebody sees something going wrong, right, they will just have no other choice than to turn a blind eye. Who are they using for political manipulations during the elections? They are youth, NYSC coppers. Most times it is coppers that are there doing all the things that they are doing, So most of these people, if we encourage them to say, you know what, come and speak your truth. Look at what has happened with the Edo tribunal, that that explanation that I played earlier. Imagine they brought a witness. This witness is supposed to be the witness for the APC, and the man went there and said, in fact, what he himself that is supposed to be like for his party, he said, this one is beyond me. This one is the evidence is clear. Do you understand? I know he's going to get a backlash for that, but hey, at some point we need to get to that point where we say, I beg, or die na die. You understand? But let me know that yes, I said the truth and I died for the truth. I think that is what I would say. Because the bottom line is that Nigerians can't just hope for good governance. You can't. You have to act. You have to demand for it. You understand? You have to act, you have to demand for it. You can't just wake up and say, okay, they will bestow good governance on me. It's not going to happen. We're just going to be dreaming if we think it's going to happen. It's not going to happen. You have to be actively participating, right? Active participation, accountability, and institutional reforms. Those are the key. If we really, really long to see our political leaders, if we want to see them and say, okay, yes, I trust that this leader means me well and the leader would do as he has said. If we don't demand for it, if we do not demand for institutional reforms, if we do not demand for active participation when it comes to our role as officers of the citizens, we are not going anywhere as a country. So whether we like it or not, right, that is the only way we can move ahead in the country. So with this viewpoint of mine, do you think it is possible, let me rephrase the question, that our political leaders can be trusted? I would say the answer is yes. But you see, the only way our political leaders can be trusted is if we demand it, if we demand that accountability, we must be ready to be involved in the process of making them worthy, right? Making them trustworthy. If we are not doing that, we are not going to go anywhere. So I just want to say that be the change that you seek. And the change does not just stop at you typing on X, on your social media platform, replying to messages and all of that. That change, it is intentional. We must ask questions. We must keep on probing. We must keep on asking. We must keep on probing. And when it's time for us to then, recall somebody, let us not be afraid to exercise our civic rights. All right, so on this note, I would say thank you. I'll take a message from WhatsApp. Should politicians be trusted? No, nope, never, negative. Abba, Grace. She said no, nope, never. She said no, nope, never, negative. I hope I reiterated it enough. You did, Grace. In fact, if politicians ask you to stand, run. And when you run very far. Grace, Beleo. It's like they have shown Grace Pepe. Good evening, my dear beautiful sister Uwa. Of What Are You Saying Ways. Should politicians be trusted? In a nutshell and straight to the point, the answer is a capital no. Come on. They put us under so much pressure and deceive us. They make empty promises and get away with it. We can't get good governance with the politicians in Nigeria. Their mouths are sugar-coated. My name is Daniel Ilowi's regular fan. Daniel, I don't think we should have this mindset. I think it is possible for us to have, trust for our political leaders. But you see that trust there, it cannot happen overnight. We are the ones that, because right now, our politicians feel like with Nigerians, anything goes. They feel like we are docile, like we don't do anything, we won't do anything. You understand? They can make, literally lie to our faces and we will not bulge. Right? We'll just move on. I bet their way be that. But imagine if we flip that coin and we are intentional about calling them to say, no. This is not what you said. This is not what you said. This is not what you said. You haven't done this. You haven't done this. You haven't done that. Until you do this, you cannot talk to us. Go back. When you have done it, come back to us. What do you think will happen? They'll sit up. Nigerians are the ones that have enabled politicians to be who they are today. So if we need to change them, we need to be the one to also call them out. So I think it is possible for us to trust our political leaders. At this point, I would say, yes, we cannot trust them, but it is possible for us to flip that coin. And I hope, you start to act today. Again, thank you for your comments, and thank you for watching. Yes, before I go, ensure you subscribe to our YouTube channels at Official Upgrade TV. You can interact with us further, drop your comments, and follow all our engagements on social media. Remember to like, share, and invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed my very deep quote for today, this quote, it touched my soul. I want you to read it well. It says, in a country well-governed, poverty is something to be ashamed of. In a country badly governed, wealth is something to be ashamed of. Wow. That's a very deep quote. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll always enjoy the rest of your evening. Ciao.
Nigeria, by extension Africa, battles a growing youthful population, and with little or no meaningful engagement, lives a ticking time bomb on our hands. We are a blessed continent with great wealth, both in people and material. Our focus on ways remains driving conversations that affects us all. Topics in the news, social concerns, politics, leadership, governance, empowerment, resource management, conflict management, finance, SME sustainability, technological innovation, food security, health, education, brain drain, our well-being, citizenship, and much more.
Our goal is to continuously drive these conversations, keep them burning at the table to effect a positive change, both for our nation and continent. Ways, what are you saying, has a secret ingredient that completes the conversation every single episode, and that ingredient is you. Our past conversations shaped our yesterday. To shape our tomorrow, we must keep talking. So, I want to hear you. Be a part of our live conversations Mondays through Fridays. And let's all have our say.